And who is behind today's Pinhead on a Stick?
It is Woody from Madness, drummer of. My favourite 80s single, I've completely forgotten, again, hang on. My favourite 80s single is Once in a Lifetime by Talking Heads. My favourite 80s album, what is that sound by the way going? Beep, 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 beep. Could do me a favour and just pull the dishwasher out. My favourite 80s album was and is David Bowie's Let's Dance. My favourite 80s movie is a no-brainer. It's With Nail and I. The greatest pop act in the 80s, of course, was Voice of the Beehive. My favourite magazine of the 80s was The Face. My favourite TV programme at the time was The Singing Detective. I was completely hooked. My favourite 80s gig that I went to, that I actually sat in the audience and watched, was Def Leppard playing in Australia. My favourite 80s fashion was simple. White t-shirt, Fruit the Loom, 501 jeans, straight-legged of course, with a slight turn-up, white socks and DM black shoes. My favourite 80s person wasn't a person. It was Gilbert the alien in Get Fresh. So obvious.
Okay, radio show.
My favourite 80s radio show is again a no-brainer, Kenny Everett. My favourite Madness gig that we played in the 80s has to be the David Bowie Anaheim Stadium gig. We supported David Bowie and it was wonderful. The worst Madness gig that I've ever played, I think actually was in the 70s, in 79, which was Hatfield. But if we're talking about the 80s, then it's got to be Disneyland in Florida, not Florida, in Los Angeles. No, not Los Angeles, I'll start again. It's got to be, no, start again. Bollocks, that was really quite flowing. If we're talking about the 80s, it's got to be Disneyland in California. Dreadful. I lived in Camden Town in the 80s. Lime Terrace to be precise. Number 5. It's in the basement. It's a very nice flat. Would I change anything in the 80s? No. Probably my pants a few more times, but really, we don't want to talk about that. The worst thing that happened to me in the 80s was selling my flat in Camden Town. The upside was I made a lot of money on it, but yeah, I had to sell my flat in Camden.
Messy.
There you go, I've got it. The best thing that ever happened to me in the 80s, thanks Barney for clacketing around like that, your lovely dog. Right, the best thing that happened to me in the 80s was joining Voice of the Beehive. Okay, if I could be anyone living or dead, I would be me! I do believe in God. Simple. Okay, this is going to sound really boring, but my hobbies are bird spotting, photography. Yeah, that's about it really. I used to draw, I don't draw much. I used to run, I don't run much. Yeah, I do like twittering things outside, and I do like to take photographs of nature and all kinds of things. Yeah, Woody's guilty secret pleasure is a tin of tuna, a tin of baked beans, mixed up in a bowl with white wine vinegar and a good sprinkling of black pepper. It's absolutely delicious. It's got to be cold though. Sounds weird, but it's my guilty pleasure. I love it.